power to precision in recent outings, and tonight the Chorley prospect meets the skillful Brett James, who's determined to end his unbeaten record. So it's graduation night for Jennings, over 12 rounds at welterweight here at the atmospheric York Hall in Bethnal Green. Hello again and welcome to Fight School, where British boxing's new breed set out to make the grade. Barry McGuigan's back with me to run the rule over tonight's hopefuls, and if Barry used to be concerned about Michael Jennings' apparent lack of firepower, he isn't anymore. Rearmed and reloaded, Jennings is gunning for success, as Ed Robinson found out.
Hunting down the leading names at welterweight should prove second nature to Michael Jennings.
Take my dogs down in West Pennine Moors and what have you, up Chorley Nab, fishing, shooting, ferreting, all that sort of thing, greyhound racing, anything like that. I'm into countryside, you know what I mean, I'm into all that.
But well-respected Londoner Brett James is next on the hit list. And after 21 sharpshooting wins...
It was the sheer intensity of the attack that did that for Michael Jennings of Chorley, who is beginning to look the business and a possible threat to the likes of Joey Kelly, James Hare, Neil Sinclair, David Barnes.
It represents a crucial step up in class for the Chorley contender.
Yeah, it's very important. I've got to look good because I want to impress. I'll be going in as if it's any world title fight.
It's also a chance for Jennings to showcase his increased punching power and prove he's more than just a ring technician.
It's over a fourth consecutive stoppage victory for Michael Jennings.
I've still not boxed. I've not boxed nowhere near my best of ability yet. Nowhere near. I know I've still got more in me.
Now Jennings is ready to make a splash in the division and sees victory as just a stone's throw away.
Just going to keep winning, that's all I want to do, just keep winning. And got this Brett James fight, which is a big fight, and I'm going to beat Brett James and then eventually box for better titles and then see what happens from there.
Well, Barry, he's got very high ambitions. Can he achieve the targets he's aiming for?
Well, it's going to be difficult because it's a tough welterweight division. There's lots of talent there. James Hare, Calleek, Eamon McGee if he comes back, and a lot of emerging talent with Kevin Anderson, etc. But the kid's developing tremendously, and he's a very exciting prospect.
Now, he's developed a lot of power recently.
Yeah.
Is that down to natural physical development, or has that been coached into him?
I think it's a combination of both. I think it's natural power. He's beginning to feel comfortable in punching range, and that's experience again. He's beginning to sit down in his punches and hit with real authority.
And it's giving him confidence. He's performing much better recently.
Undoubtedly. He's getting better all the time. You know, he basically is a nice, fast, sharp boxer. Moves in and out of range and gets his shots off quickly. But this is, natural power that he's beginning to bring to the game.
But he is a boxer primarily, isn't he?
Yeah, ostensibly a boxer. You can see the way he moves in and out of range. Beautifully skilled and, amateur, obviously a very good amateur pedigree as well. Moving in and out of range, boxing with real skill and getting off with his punches and avoiding his opponents.
His footwork is very good too. Yeah,
footwork is good, and balance and coordination, that's really what he trades on. But as you can see recently, he does occasionally make mistakes, and the downside is that he begins to leave his chin hanging out in punching range sometimes, and he can't afford to do that at this stage.
Well, so tell me, Brett James, how big a test is this tonight?
Well, Brett James is a very good fighter, only been beaten once. Very talented kid, throws lots of punches, fast boxer. That's the thing he's got to work on tonight. This guy's every bit as quick as he is, so it's going to be a real test from him. It's a genuine step up in class.
Now, of course, to stop Brett James would be a real feather in his cap. Is he capable of doing that?
I think he is capable in the later rounds. I think he can sit down in his punches. Of course, he hasn't gone the distance before, hasn't gone 12 rounds before, but I think he has the ability to stop this guy in the late stages.
Well, here is the challenger. It's a big opportunity for Brett James, who, remember, has just that one defeat on his record, but this is his first fight over 12 rounds. We've seen plenty of upsets at the York Hall over the years. Could this be another? Our commentators are Ian Dark and Jim Watt, after our Master of Ceremonies, Michael Pass.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Fight School, and we are now looking for the top of the welterweight class. Would you please welcome, making his way to the ring, the challenger this evening, from Camden Town in England, Brits Jennings.
Well, some major exposure here for Brett James, who's got a name as if he was a character in some Wild West movie. In fact, he's a part-time male model when he's not boxing, but he's been a useful boxer, as the boys were saying. He's only lost once. That was to the useful and entertaining David Walker, and he feels that Michael Jennings will be tailor-made for him tonight.
Well, I think he can expect his toughest ever battle tonight. I think he must know he's probably the underdog tonight. He's quick, he's fast, he's talented, but I don't know that he's boxing the same quality as the other man tonight.
28 years of age, Brett James, 14 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws on his record against the veteran Carl Taylor.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, entering the hall, the undefeated champion from Charlie in England, Michael Jennings.
Well, it's been a slow education for Michael Jennings. Some might say he had been virtually unnoticed until recent months, fighting deep on undercards, not much exposure, not much publicity, but just lately people have started to notice his speedy, sharp, precise boxing and improved power. He's stopped 5 of his last 6 opponents, confidence absolutely sky high, and 70 of his fans have made the very long journey from Chorley in Lancashire to East London to support him tonight. So there's quite an atmosphere, Jim, here at the York Hall for this one.
A good atmosphere. I think on paper this could be a little cracker. I mean, Jennings, unbeaten, as we see here, 26 years of age, a couple of years younger than James. Everything going well for him, and his current form is the best of his career, which is very important.
Both of them just inside the 10.5 stone welterweight limit. Slight reach advantage for Jennings, who does his training, or his running anyway, up in the Pennines near his home. Is heavily into the country pursuits. James, on the other hand, has only been boxing since he was 19 years old. 12-round fight, this one, for the fringe WBU international title.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, good evening and welcome to the legendary York Hall here in Bethnal Green, East London, England. Tonight, Frank Warren's Sports Network, www.frankwarren.tv, Nemirov and UTEC proudly present Fight School's final examination. 12 3-minute rounds of boxing for the WBU's international welterweight title. Welcome to viewers watching live and exclusively once again this broadcast on Sky Sports, and to viewers in the USA on Showbox, the new generation. The officials have been appointed by the World Boxing Union and the British Boxing Board of Control. WBU President at ringside, Mr. John Robinson from Nordelf in Norfolk, England. Commissioner Wally Solomons, British Boxing Board of Control stood in charge, Dean Hollington. Timekeeper at the bell, Mr. Peter McCann from Northwood, England. The 3 scoring judges at ringside are Howard Goldberg from South Africa, Carl Rogers and Reg Thompson, both from England. Finally, when the action commences, the man in charge this evening, star referee Dave Paris from Tottenham, North London, England. And now introducing to you, firstly, the challenger this evening, boxing out of the red corner, wearing the red-coloured shorts trimmed with white. At the weigh-in yesterday, he scaled 10 stones, 6 pounds, 6 ounces, or 146 pounds and 6 ounces. From 17 contests, he has 14 wins. 1 of those wins coming by way of knockout, 1 defeat and 2 draws. He comes to the ring this evening as the current English Southern Area Champion, presenting from Camden Town in England, Brits Jennings. And opposing him shorts trimmed with red and white. At the weigh-in yesterday, he scaled 10 stone, 6 pounds and 7 ounces, or 146 pounds and 7 ounces. He has a perfect, unblemished record, 21 contests, 21 wins. 8 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight making the proud second defence of his title, presenting the WBU's international welterweight champion from Chorley in England, Michael the Lutcher Jennings. Referee Mr. Paris will now give his final instructions, 12 rounds.
Okay, boys, I'll give you instructions in the dressing room. Remember, punch with the knuckle part of the glove, break when I tell you to, and defend yourself at all times. Shake hands, boys. Good luck to you both.
Could be a good fight, this one. Jennings looking to make more impression, and he's been doing that to some good judges in recent times as well. He'll start favourite here against Brett James. But James is prepared here for what he believes is the fight night of his life. That's how he expects it to pan out. He's in the red trunks, James, from North London. Jennings in black from Chorley in Lancashire. They've got a common opponent in Sammy Smith. Jennings stopped him in 4 rounds impressively. Went the distance with James, all 10 rounds, although James did have him on the floor in the second round, and might argue that he'd softened Smith up for Jennings. It's an argument. That's right over the top from Jennings. He's grown in confidence in recent times. He looked a bit flitty and hurried early on in his career. Settled down.
The main thing is he's prepared to take the initiative straight away in this one. I think he realises if he stands off James, he's only enhancing James's chances here. He wants to take this fight by the scruff of the neck, get involved straight away.
They've also both fought Carl Taylor. James drew with him twice, and Jennings stopped him in 4, which was a good win as well. So on those form lines, you'd fancy Jennings. Doesn't always work out like that in boxing at all. It's all about styles and the chemistry of a certain fight.
It's actually a big question mark over James, the fact that twice he would draw with Carl Taylor, who, let's face it, is a journeyman. I know they were both over 4 rounds, and mistakes to be made over 4 rounds, but it's 2 bad draws on his card.
Faster start here by Michael Jennings, with noisy support from behind Jim and I at ringside. Insistent chants of Jennings ringing around the arena.
He looks a little bit quicker than James in the first round here, that's for sure.
Sharp with the jab as well. He's driving it through that high guard of Brett James. Typical Michael Jennings start here. He's from the excellent Brian Hughes camp in Manchester, working alongside the likes of former world champion Robin Reed.
James is finding it difficult to find the range in the first round. It's early days, we have a long time to go. He does have a couple of 10-rounders under his belt, but I think he'll more be looking forward to the halfway stage. I think Jennings is going to be very quick in the early stages.
Very neat and sharp and quick boxing early on from Jennings, and it looks already as if speed will be a big factor in this one. It often is, isn't it?
Well, I think James will have to find ways of slowing the pace down. Just maybe step across, try to cut the ring down on this fellow, but easier said than done.
All the time the fight's at range. Jennings looks past. Big opening round, really, for Jennings.
The new fragrance for men from Lacoste.
Just a routine chest x-ray?
Just a routine chest x-ray. I found out there was lung cancer. And you think to yourself, they must be wrong. You never think it's going to happen to you.
If you want to stop smoking, call 0800 169 0169.
There's a boxing trainer and sometime author, Brian Hughes, in the middle there, with a team of Carl Ince and Mike Jackson as well. He believes in them, and they believe in him.
Yeah, well, the obvious difference in speed in the first round on Michael Jennings' side.
James, by the way, trained by Al Smith and managed by Eugene Maloney, Frank's brother. James, remember, in the red trunks with the streaks in his hair, little clue about that male model work I was telling you about that he uses, but boxing's very much his priority. He turned down an appointment with one of the top designers for a fight one time. So this is more what I'm about. Bit better from James at the start of the round. James hasn't got in the fight yet, Jim.
No, but I don't think you would expect to have a successful first round anyway. I think he realises throwing single jabs at Michael Jennings is a waste of time. I think he realises he has to try to control the tempo. A good left hook from Jennings.
He's showing a good repertoire here and looking absolutely full of confidence and self-belief. James has won a Southern Area title in that close-fought contest with Sammy Smith, and he outpointed Ian Eldridge in the defence of the title too, but this is another level again, you fancy.
Yeah, it's not the speed of Jennings is so difficult to contend with. Accuracy as well. Good start by Jennings.
Just one thing about Jennings though, Jim, he's never been beyond 6 yet, so there would be the stamina question mark. Sure, he's in top shape, and that might only be a formality, but you don't know till a fighter's done it.
Yeah, exactly, but I always feel fighters who know they're not massive punchers, they know they have to be in the best of condition. He's been training for 12-round fights, although he's never done it. So yeah, he still has the stamina that he's built up over the last couple of preparations. He hasn't done the rounds, he's been building up the stamina, which is important.
There's a little half smile playing around James' lips from time to time here, almost as if he knows he's got his work cut out here, because he is being outboxed by Michael Jennings early on here.
Well, he's tried a couple of unusual things. Just as I'm speaking, he's doing it. So I think he realises orthodox boxing, he's going to have a second prize here. So he's trying something different, so at least he's tumbled that nice and quick.
James, who grew up as a big fan of Chris Eubank, that's why he started boxing. He got captivated watching Eubank fights on the television. He might need all the resilience of a Chris Eubank to sustain himself through this one.
See, I think the fact that James is going to be chasing shadows for a couple of rounds, he's the one who's liable to run out of steam. Jennings is working at his own pace, he's working at a good pace, but he's controlling the pace. So I think James is going to be the one maybe struggling with this pace.
Good right hand to end the round, Jennings dominant.
The UEFA Champions League, and the holders are on fire.
A 100% screamer.
AC Milan head to La Coruña with a 4-1 lead.
This is just magical.
Can Deportivo pull off a huge upset to reach the semis for the first time? And can Lyon turn home advantage into goals against Porto, the Old Trafford conquerors? A battle for the last 4.
It's a wonderful breakthrough.
The UEFA Champions League quarter-finals, Wednesday at 6 on Sky Sports.
Welcome back to the York Hall, Bethnal Green. They'll be very happy in that corner, Jim.
Yeah, I think they'll be delighted because he's just flowing straight from the off. He hasn't taken a round or so to find his range, find his timing, everything working so well. Nice and smooth. This is the fellow with the early problems.
And the early evidence is that Michael Jennings might be ready to move in with the top men in the British welterweight division, led by Jacques Kalik and Eamon McGee, if he ever gets fit again after his terrible injuries from that beating in Belfast. James Hare, of course, David Barnes, the British champion, who, by the way, is a stablemate of Jennings, so that's a problem, really. Those two aren't going to meet anytime soon.
Well, Jennings prepared to step in with the shots now. Another sign of confidence. Don't know if it's a little bit too early to go taking chances, but he obviously feels not.
Well, he knows he's headlining a television bill for the first time tonight. Jennings, he's really up for this and determined to make an impression.
Well, this is impressive stuff we're seeing here. Good variety of punches, good body movement, not taking too much. Good stuff so far from Jennings.
And what has James got to beat him with? Because he's no kind of puncher. He's only got one stoppage record. Setting his feet more than he used to, Jennings, and more economic with his shots. Looks much more rounded, doesn't he, now?
Yep, it looks like a good solid pro. I did not expect this type of assault this early in the fight. I thought maybe we would have seen 4 or 5 rounds of long-range boxing. But this is far more of a spectacle than maybe I thought.
Super stuff so far, this, from Jennings. He's picking the punches, he's accurate, he's quick, he's determined, he's purposeful. And he looks, at the moment, as if he's a young fighter making quite rapid strides.
The only odd thing at the moment is James still has that smile on his face when he's taking the shots. I just think that's a little bit of bravado. I think he's beginning to feel some of these.
Blocking a few with the gloves, but the right cross and the left hook both got through. It's pretty one-sided. Now the right hand. Heavy punishment for Brett James, who just cannot get into it, because Jennings, quite apart from picking the punches, is cleverly working the angles as well.
I mean, this is real quality boxing we're seeing here. I mean, against a decent opponent, he's trying everything. The power, the accuracy, good variety. This is real top-class stuff from Michael Jennings.
You might be looking at the most improved fighter in the country, Michael Jennings of Chorley. Tees off with the right hand. I don't think Brett James thought this was going to be this hard.
I think he thought he'd be going looking for Jennings, and it's quite the opposite. So that must be a shot face system.
He's winning the rounds big.
What's going on?
Hurry up!
Let's go, come on!
What the hell's he doing? You've got to work back. Listen to me. Jab, work back. Okay, listen to me. Keep still. Jab, work back. And when he chucks a double hook, chuck your own
Al Smith.
You've got to work. Everywhere behind your
In the face of Brett James, but more in his face is Michael Jennings, unfortunately for him.
That is the problem. I mean, it's not a big tactics here. I think he's facing a man tonight who's just a little bit better than he is. Or maybe quite a bit better than he is.
Well, they're telling Brett James to get the jab going, Jim. See if he can beat Jennings to the jab. But I'm not sure this fella can outbox Michael Jennings. Hasn't looked like that yet, has it?
I think his only chance that I can see so far is the second half of the fight. If he gets there, when the pace slows, if he keeps some in the tank, if he's losing the early rounds, then just tuck up, try to catch most of the punishment coming your way, and have a big charge in the second part of the fight. But I don't, to be honest, at the moment, everything going Jennings' way.
Yeah, I think he just has to hang on in there and hope the storm subsides, and that he can come on strong a bit later on. It's been an electric start here by Jennings. He's the kind of lad who always goes in the gym, even if he's got a fight coming up or not. In love with the business, you see. He's looking a bit swollen around the face as well, James, now.
Well, he's trying to get some punches off here. They're hoping for the pace to slow. He can't box at this pace.
expect so much from Jennings in this round. Going for the body shots this time, then a right hand. Hurtful with the jab. Can't miss James at the moment. Not much head movement, I'm afraid, from the man from Camden Town. And can't get that jab working as the corner want. And I think one of the reasons for that is that the jab isn't fast enough. Got to switch southpaw for a moment then.
Yeah, Jennings is just too sharp for him in virtually every department. I wonder how long before he really starts to become discouraged, frustrated.
Tried to unload with the right hand, but Jennings was so quick on his feet going backwards that it never landed. Raking home that jab with almost sickening efficiency, then switching the attack to the body. This is a young fella who's spent a lot of time learning quietly while others got the publicity, but you're beginning to see the results of it all. Let's get an alternative view of things now from Spencer Oliver at ringside.
Well, it's very one-sided. Spencer, how impressed are you with the way Michael Jennings is going about his business?
It's an excellent performance here by Michael Jennings. He started really well, mixing the shots up to body and head, and now starting to stand his ground, show his maturity, and starting to push back James back, and it's all one-sided at the moment.
Are you surprised how aggressive he's been? He's never been beyond 6 rounds before.
Well, he turned pro back in '99, Michael Jennings, and he's really improving all the time. They put him on the back burner, just bring him along slowly. 21 fights now, and showing his maturity here, and showing that he's got a lot of strength. He's stopped 5 of his last 6, and it's really coming on.
The jab's working well too.
Yeah, he's working excellently. There's plenty of movement, moving side to side, and now he's steadily pushing Brett James back, and it seems only a matter of time before he gets the stoppage.
Thanks, Spencer.
Well, that's really the only interpretation there can be of the fight so far. Did you see that stat, Jim? 32-6 in jabs landed in Jennings' favour.
Yep, frightening. I mean, it's not so bad coming off second best in the early parts of a fight if you're having some success, but when you're having virtually no success whatsoever, it's heartbreaking, and I just don't know how long this fella can keep his enthusiasm in there.
Very hard this for Brett James on what he hoped would be a big night for him. But he's still in there. Jennings hasn't won it yet, but he's won everything that's moved so far. James, who reckons he sold about 200 tickets for this fight tonight as well. His fans quiet at the moment. It's the Jennings supporters who are making the noise around here.
His defensive reflexes are so quick as well, Jennings. He makes a mistake, the defence is there instantly to cover up.
It's a bit of a tragic background as well with Jennings. One of his brothers died in tragic circumstances. He says a lot of his friends grew up with drug problems in the area, and he knew really that the gym was his only possible escape from maybe drifting into that kind of life himself. So he's shown enormous dedication and determination, really, to make something of himself. And he's certainly doing that at the moment and putting in quite a show here tonight.
And he's digging the punches in now, walking right in with the shots, the body shots, the head.
Beginning to unload here on a tired and wilting Brett James, who's taken so much. It's getting one-sided. Dave Parrish taking a rather closer look at James, who hasn't been firing back lately. Had to find that right hand there to stay in the fight, I fancy.
And that was the biggest drive so far from Jennings. He's looking for the stoppage now. He obviously feels the stronger in there as well. Feels he's taken the steam out of James.
Big push there from Michael Jennings. Brett James just about rode the storm. Wasn't a lot in it. He was close, I think, to getting stopped. unrelenting attack from Jennings, who's shown a very good repertoire there. There was a right cross that time from James. Uppercuts through the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. It's just too much this for Brett James. He might need Jesse James to get in there with him to help him out, I reckon, if it goes on like this. Well, they've got to think about it in the corner a bit, because there'll be other nights for Brett James.
Yeah, I don't think they want to see too many more rounds like that. I mean, the kid's brave, he does have a future ahead of him, but nothing is going his way. He's not landing any decent shots whatsoever. He's taken too many of them. Maybe time to get him out of there, maybe one more round.
Stop it. Just keep doing what you're doing, not just give a kind of punch shot. Don't wait too close to what it's got.
It's a big bonus, you know, for Brian Hughes. He's had a rough time. They lost Anthony Farnell and Michael Gomez from the gym. Robin Reed had that very debatable one with Sven Otka when he could have regained a world title. They need this youngster to come through, don't they?
Well, this little fella can certainly put them back on the map.
And the fight is over. Jennings has won. One can only presume that James's corner pulled him out of the fight. It was very one-sided. He won everything, and he looked really, really good tonight, Michael Jennings. Whether he can do that at the slightly higher level with the elite of the domestic welterweight division, we'll wait and see. But for the moment, I'll say it again, he looks the most improved fighter in the country.
Yeah, I would go along with that. It is a tough division, but even at this point in time, he would not be disgraced with anybody in the welterweight division domestic. There won't be in too much of a hurry to rush him. There's nobody going to be hunting for the title he's got, but I don't think it'll be too long before they want to take him on to bigger things.
All over after 5 rounds, and you see the corner, Al Smith. Credit to him. Great decision, I think, because there will be other nights for Brett. He'd taken everything, he'd given it everything. There was no way he could win.
And he tried to pump Brett James up the couple of rounds beforehand, so he knew James had given his best. It wasn't good enough. Get him out of there. This is a cruel business.
Compassionate decision. Well done to trainer Al Smith for taking that decision, because he saved his fighter from a lot of wear and tear, and maybe some danger too. Very, very good performance, Michael Jennings tonight. 22-0 now, and he's a threat really to all the welterweights in the country, I'd say.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of round number 5, referee Dave Paris has accepted the retirement of Brett James from his corner. Your winner, he's still undefeated and still the WBU's international welterweight champion from Chorley in England, Michael Jennings. Your appreciation, please, for the very brave and game challenger, Brett James. All these means on behalf of the World Boxing Union.
What do you think of it, then, Jim?
I'm just filling in 10 out of 10 in every department. I know we're not at the top level tonight, but how can you fault what he did tonight? Everything, the fitness, the variety of punches, the strength, the technique, everything. Hardly took a shot back on return. Look at his face, not a mark in his face. I mean, for me, that was a perfect performance tonight. Whether he can carry it on to the next level, I look forward to finding out.
And we've got more great action for you, by the way, coming up tonight. Stick around, because there's a really good fight between Steve Murray and Martin Watson. Well worth keeping tuned for, and also an appearance by Danny Williams, the former British and Commonwealth heavyweight champion. Look, still to come on Fight School tonight. Well, let's meet the winner, shall we? Michael Jennings is with Craig Slater.
Well, Michael, congratulations. Congratulations, Michael. That was a textbook display. How pleased were you with that performance?
I was pleased with it, but I could have boxed a lot better. Bri was having a few words with me in the corner, though, you know what I mean? Giving me a bit of a telling off. But I just did what I had to do. Bri said, work him hard at first, which I was doing with them body shots, just pressuring him. And then Bri said, like, after a bit, it will tire. Pick him off with your boxing then, and then step it back up again, which I did, and I stopped him.
You've stopped 6 of your last 7 now. Where's all this power coming from? Is it something you worked on in the gym, or is it just natural development?
Been working on it, and I've matured. Like, when I first started, I was a kid, you know what I mean? I was very late maturing, like, and I was really only a light welter to start with, but I was boxing a lot of welterweights, tough journeymen, and they were just keeping the guards up. They're there to stay in there. They're not getting stopped off no one, do you know what I mean? Brian's been giving me boxing tapes of the old-timers, you know, to work in accuracy. Carlin's has been working on me in a pad. Mike Jackson's been holding the bags, you know, making me punch accurately. And that's what I'm doing, just punching more accurate. Slow my feet down and I seem to be stopping them.
Are you ready to step up a level now to British title level? Of course, your gym mate David Barnes is the champion. You want to avoid him. Maybe the Commonwealth belt, that's vacant.
Yeah, whatever. I think Bri, I'll speak with Bri, but I think Bri thinks I'm ready to step up. You can see I'm stopping people, I'm boxing better. David's got a British belt, which fair play to David. He's defending it on Saturday. Get another win there, then one more defence of that. He might vacate, and hopefully, if everything's planned like, you know, go for the British.
Congratulations, a terrific display tonight.
So an impressive win for Michael Jennings. We'll have Barry's verdict on his performance after the break, and there will be more terrific action from tonight's bill. Unbeaten Scottish prospect Martin Watson took on Harlow crowd pleaser Steve Murray, and it proved to be explosive.